So, today I'm going to show how I teach fighting art. There are a lot of systems of teaching fighting arts, but in my opinion, in every of that system there is one common mistake. That system teach how to move. That are systems of how to move your hands or move your legs, how to catch, how to kick, how to hit, and so on. That's a system of motions. But basically fighting art is not a system of motions. Fighting art is a system of communicating with another person and improving yourself by communicating with another person. Fighting art is a system of overcoming difficulties what another person creates for you, and by that becoming bigger and more able. And a long time ago there were very basic exercises what created ability to communicate, and by that the ability to fight. Nowadays some of that exercises are known and a little bit changed and corrected, and you can see that exercises in practice of improving ability to sell or improving ability to communicate in common. But I'm going to show you old exercises, what was shown to me quite a long time ago, and I'm going to show and explain them as I have got it a long time ago. I'm showing this is body of person and this is mind of person. The body of person could not move or could move, but the key thing here is what is going on with mind. Because sometimes when a mind see an opponent, mind start to do a lot of things and start to have a lot of reactions. For example, mind could be very angry, or mind could be a little bit frightened, or mind could be very dull, very cold, nothing there, I don't react, and so on. But for communicate with somebody, for fight with somebody, mind should perceive the space, and mind should perceive the space in what the enemy is. I mean to say that mind be there, and mind be there, and mind be there, and mind be there. Mind should perceive the space, all the space where is the opponent, the enemy. And the exercise for achieve that condition is very, very simple, but very, very hard. It's done very, very easy, very, very simple. Turn around. Two persons just standing in front of each other at the distance of hand, and just looking at each other and perceive each other, and that's it. This is how the exercise is done. Come around. Well, then the mind of person is there and just looking at the space and perceive the space and perceive things in that space. Body doesn't move, because when mind is frightened, body start to do something like that. Then mind thinks what this is too heavy to look at the space. Body started to bend, and so on. All and any motions in the body are just indicators of things what going on with mind, things what going on with spirit, what own that body and use that body for fighting. Well, there are many additions to that exercises. There are meditations, there are praying, and so on. That is doing that exercises like that. Body is there and spirit is there, and spirit start to do something for perceive. Whereas spirit doesn't need to do something in that exercise. Spirit needs only to look, to watch the space. Praying. Oh, please let me be there. I'm with you. I'm there only if you will give me power to be there. These verbs, but this is a sort of addition. Meditation. Spirit start to look at something particular, at an object, whereas spirit should look at space. For example, spirit start to look at his body. This is wrong, because opponent is there, and in that exercise, spirit, mind should perceive opponent. Spirits should be here and should look at space, at opponent. Only looking, and that's it. Well, this is how the exercise is done. The end result of that exercise, when it is done, is the ability to be in that space mentally. Be in that space without any emotion. Be in that space without any tools, without doing something, without any tricks, without anything. Just be there and look at the space, and that's it. Because that is necessary, because when you want to talk with somebody, that means that you want to send something to that person through the space. And if you can see the space, you can do it. You can send something to the person or perceive something from the person. But if you cannot perceive the space, you can't do it. Well, next exercise. Next exercise in old Oriental practice was known as an iron shot. Because finally that exercise gives to a person an ability to do not perceive a hit. That exercise is done quite simple. Two persons are standing in front of each other, and one person find out what hit is not very heavy damaging. I'm starting to hit and I'm increase the power of the hit. say than too heavy. Okay. And now I'm starting to hit the person, and the purpose of pupil is to stay here, stay in that space and have no reactions and have no emotions, whereas the person is getting the hit. Okay, if a trainer finds a special motion, a special hit, what make a reaction, a hole in the armor of that person. For example, I'm moving that kind of hit, and the person afraid of that. I see what that cause a reaction. Person a little bit afraid. I repeat that until the hole become closed, until the person create armor there for close the hole in that armor. Okay. Well, this is first part of that exercise. Then people should change roles. And now the person who is pupil should learn another skill. And the another skill is ability to be here and stay here and have no emotions, reactions, have nothing. Then person make the hit. And that is quite more difficult than to stay here when you are hit. We change roles. Testing. Okay. Go. That hand also. Pause. Head. No. Hit. Make a hit. Okay, this is how it's done. Both that exercises should be done. The first exercises could be done for days and days and days and days, because it's very powerful exercise. That exercises could be done for long as well, but in my practice it's necessary to do it at least half an hour, and being there when you are making heat should be done 2 or 3 hours sometimes, and then the exercises should be repeated. But next thing what should be practiced after that 2 exercises are done is the ability to attack the person. Ability to attack the person mentally. A person should be able to damage somebody. And that is done by many ways, but the most simple ways is to drill the sequence, the idea, the thought of attacking somebody, emotions of attacking somebody, and sometimes some effort of attacking somebody. But the effort for the beginning should be exposed in words or emotions without touching another person. For example, I attack the person with an emotions and some actions, but without touching. The person should stay there, should present here in that space and perceive me. And my purpose of a trainer is to teach that person to stay there even if I attack that person. I show how it's done. Boo! 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 Okay, that's examples of different kinds of attack. Also, I could attack with that. Then, after the pupil is able to stay there under the attack, we change roles, and the purpose of pupil is to become able to do the attack. And it could be said that that is the key exercise, because in that exercise the person is trained to take his thought of attacking somebody and make this thought into some effort. Make that thought into an emotion and into effort. In mind of a person there are things that sometimes blocking that. Because person wants to damage somebody, but there are some barriers what tell him it's wrong, you will be bad, it's not correct to attack, and so on. And in that exercise, the purpose of that exercise is to make the person through the barriers. Okay. Now you should attack me with emotions. Now, wrong. More emotions. More intention to attack. More aggressive. Good. More aggressive. Good. Try to do. Nice. Ah! Okay. That exercise could be done for a long time and very artfully. An example, in that exercise it could be learned how to attack with all and any kinds of emotions. An example. Don't kill me, please, please don't kill me! This is a way of avoiding an attack. Because the next thing you are making a person to shock. Don't kill me, please, please don't kill me! And after that you are attacking the person who is a little bit ashamed. Well, next two exercises are directed at creating the ability to move fast. That was spacing exercises. That was exercises for making person into that space. Next exercise is for time, for timing, for creating the ability to work with time. The exercise named the infinite hit. It's done very, very simple. A person is standing at something what he's going to hit and start to hit. But the purpose is to make the hit very, 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 very slowly. The idea is usually a person try to move his hands very fast, and person put a lot of efforts into moving the hand or leg or body faster and faster and faster. And in body there are resistance, there are counter efforts, F equal minus F, against the person's effort to move the body fast. And in mind of person, in spirit of person, there are a lot of things about moving slowly, moving very slowly. And the final idea is if person can make the hit in an infinite time, in an infinity of time, then person can do the hit very fast, instantly. If person can do the hit in an infinity of time, he can do the hit in a zero time. That's the idea. And instead of learning to move faster and faster and faster and faster and faster, person is learning to move slowly and slowly and slowly and slowly, very slowly. And all the way of doing that, person should be here and in that moment of time. In the while of doing that exercises, many things usually start to happen. Sometimes person start to feel what his hand become very, very heavy. Sometimes he feels what something in his body try to move it faster, and his hands are moving like that. Sometimes in mind of the person start to appear a lot of ideas. For example, what for I'm doing that so slowly? I'm losing time, I'm losing time, I'm losing time, oh my god, I'm losing time, I should run faster and faster. And all that is necessary to do here is just to go on to do that exercise and move hands very slowly. And that's it. And that exercise raises the ability to control the time of your motions. Well, and after that exercise is done, next exercise is upgrade for that one, for slow heating. That is putting a heat into a point of a space. In that exercise, a person should look around, find a place, find a spot in a space, and then put a heat there, slowly. And that should be done for a long time as well, because that is an exercise for putting together time and space, because a person should choose a point in a space and choose a time, how fast he will put his communications, his heat into that point of space. And that exercise teach person to look at space, because finally person should choose points in a space without objects. And move his heat there, whereas there is no objects there. Well, and next thing, after that two exercises are done and person can work with heats, and person can move his heats into different points of space. There are some very simple exercises for establishing person's ability to communicate with opponent by hands and by legs. In my opinion, in every person there is ability to fight, and the ability to fight is sleeping, and there is no need to teach person a special system of motions, because system of motions for one body could be wrong for another kind of body, and vice versa. If there is a very little but very fast body, for him there is one system of motions, and if there is a very big and heavy body, for him there is quite another system of motions. And difference of minds and of spirits who live in bodies create much more difficulties and differences in systems of motions that are correct for that special body. So in all practice there was and there is a list of exercises what helped to a pupil to establish his own system of fighting, his own system of motions. There there are some special exercises for establish the culture of motions. I will show them later, but for the beginning it's not necessary to do that exercises. For the beginning always what is necessary is just to start fighting and to go on fighting. The first exercise is named words or hieroglyphs. In that exercise, a trainer attacks the pupil, and the purpose of pupil is to find out how he or she will handle the attack. I do one attack, one kind of attack. Handle. Okay, try to find another way to handle. Do something now. Another way to handle. Okay. Then the person finds how he will handle it. That attack and that handling is repeated at faster and faster speed. Okay, and now I change hands. I mirror the motions. Okay. Then another attack. And then I repeat it with another hand. And then I take another attack. Something else. Something else. Try something else. Try something else. For example, something like that. Or like that. I don't know. Try something. Is it okay? Faster. I'll do it faster. Another hand. Okay, and so on. The point here is teacher, trainer should not enforce on a pupil what to do. Trainer should advise if pupil have problems with sorting out and finding out how to handle the attack. But it's It's up to pupil to invent a way of handle the attack. After that, roles are changing. The purpose of pupil is to invent ways of attacking. Attack. Okay. That is the exercise works. After that, there is next exercise, what could be named monologue. The purpose of pupil is to handle the flow of attacks. The trainer makes a flow of attacks, and the purpose of the pupil is to handle the flow of attacks. That is done at slow speed for the beginning. Then changing of roles. And so on. And after the monologue is done, the only thing what is left is conversation. That is actually the Ghent exercise in first block of fighting art, the fighting by without objects, without weapons. And in that exercise, two people should fight, but fight very, very slowly, at the speed of slow heat. that exercise should be done as slow as comfortable for both partners. And after some while of doing that very, very slow, they could do it as slow or as fast as they want. Well, that is the list of exercises, list of basic exercises what should be done for establish person's ability to communicate with another person by fighting, by hands. And that exercises should be and could be done by spiral. You do one cycle, then after you understand what for every exercise is needed, you repeat the cycle, then you repeat the cycle, then you repeat the cycle, and so on. And you move upper and upper and upper in your skill. On the second turn, on the second cycle of doing that exercises, some additional things could be added. For example, legs could be added. Because legs are less controlled than hands. When you move hands, you can stop it at the point you want to stop. When you move your leg, it's not so easy to stop it because legs is not intended for hitting. Legs is intended for moving your body. And person should have much more practice with hitting legs or use legs with enough control for not hitting your body. With legs, absolutely same exercises are done. Person is taught to confront, person is taught to so about exercises of culture of motions. Actually, fighting motions are two types. There are only two types of fighting hits. And there are very simple objective exercises what help to establish in body the culture of that motions. The first motion is stick, and what is need to be done, you should find a stick and you should tie the stick to your hand, that the stick is touching the elbow and the stick is touching the palm. And after that you should exercise to do that motion. You should wrong ways of doing that is like that, then the stick is moving, turn it. Stick should move straight. After a while you should change the weight of the stick. You could take a metal one or something like that. But the idea is very simple. Bow a stick to your hand and train the motions, and that's it. Second exercise is pike. You just holding the pike, the stick in your hand, and exercise all kinds of sticking from here, from here, from here, and in all of that motions you should move the stick straight, because if you don't move it straight in the moment of hitting, if it's done, the power of hit go aside. It should be straight. The purpose of that exercise is to learn your hand move straight. Then you make a straight hit. Here and here and here and all of these. And another much more difficult exercise of culture of motion is wire and waves. And the purpose of that packet of exercises is to learn your body to create wave in your motion. It's done very simple. You need a wire, and any kind of wire, and a stick of elbow long. For the beginning, you take that thing and learn how to create a wave. And do all kinds of waving. Like that, maybe like that, maybe like that, like that. Both hands. That is plain. Next thing is a little bit more complicated. You take it like that.